Oh. My unit, salute, 5/9/2025, Smackdown, your official amplified review. By the time you guys catch this, we'll be just a few hours away from Backlash. This Smackdown, if you are asking what did it do for Backlash, what did it have to do with Backlash, the answer you should already know. It should be rhetorical. Absolutely nothing. I tuned in last night to Smackdown to see a professional wrestling television show, and I got a house show. I got nothing but wrestling match after wrestling match after wrestling match after wrestling match for no rhyme or reason, no purpose other than for wrestlers to do wrestling moves. Now, I know that's not why most of us fell in love with pro wrestling. We want larger-than-life characters, storylines. We care about feuds. We need to see culminated at a big event. I don't know, like a pay-per-view? A premium live event? Make us feel things in these segments and in these matches, man. Make us feel emotion. We're just watching wrestling matches, and I'll do you one better. Just a bunch of random tag team matchups. Tag team match after tag team match after tag team match. What are we doing for Backlash? Fraxium is taking on Stret Profits. Alexa Bliss and Zelina Vega are taking on Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. You have LA Knight and Damien Priest taking on Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. You have Fenix and Andrade taking on Humberto and Garza. Yes, that's a Friday night. Cancel all your plans. You got that hot date you were going to go on? No, cancel. You got to see Humberto and Garza versus Fenix and Andrade. It's a house show. It's a damn house show. Why? Because Hunter has no I've been trying to say this for 2 years. And I think WrestleMania, finally more people started to see this. There's still enough people bullshitting themselves, and if they have platforms, audiences, but there's no hope for those individuals. They'll keep spewing until they're faced with reality when it hits them like a brick upside the dome piece. It's just gonna happen. Eventually, they're gonna wake up and go, oh yeah, this sucks. But more and more people saw that for Mania. The season sucked, WrestleMania sucked, and here we are. If you thought it would be a little better, the pressure would be off of Hunter Helmsley. Maybe he can loosen up a little bit and try to tap into any creative juices that may flow within. No, he doesn't have any. This is what I've been trying to shout from the mountaintop for 2 straight years. More and more people are finally starting to see that this is Helmsley. He doesn't have creativity. He doesn't want to spend the time trying to be creative. He just wants to do interviews and commercials and voiceovers, and he just wants to be the face of the company, man. But you see a show last night and you tell me that it takes any ounce of creativity to put any of that show together? 3 hours of a professional wrestling show from a conglomerate company like WWE that's been around for decades, and that's the best they had? The head of creative gave you that, and you're okay with it because you saw wrestling action? I could see amazing wrestling 7 days a week, twice on Sunday at the local bingo hall. $5 get you in. I know the owner. I can slip through the back door. I'm in. Save myself the $5, get a coffee. Go to a local bingo hall if you just want pro wrestling. There has to be storylines. That's what pro wrestling is, especially if in today's pro wrestling, the guy at the top, Hunter Helmsley, and one of the board of directors, The Rock, they're both going to try to expose the business every which way they possibly can. New television show, no Netflix streaming shows like Unreal, or Hunter's going to rip back the curtain and show you every trick of the trade. He's going to expose everything. And The Rock, every time there is a storyline or he is involved, he goes into a press conference 5 minutes later and he tells you all the details that went into it. Thanks for not giving us a minute to digest what we just witnessed. Hunter Helmsley and The Rock just want to expose the business, and what's the return that we're getting? Just a bunch of wrestling matches. After they tell us how fake it all is, they want to just shove down wrestling match after wrestling match because it's safe for them. It's easy for them. There's nothing that goes into this. You could be 12 with a crayons and a coloring book, and you could have booked last night's show. I can't tell you how many times people go, BC, man, I watch your show, not the actual wrestling shows, because you're more entertaining. I appreciate those words. I really do. BC, I watch your reviews. I don't catch the shows because you save me 2 or 3 hours. I know if you say it's good, it must have been. And I know if you're ripping it apart, I saved myself hours. I appreciate that very much, that you make BC your one-stop shop for all things pro wrestling. In an oversaturated community where everybody has a camera, a mic, and they think they can spew wrestling, you come here because you know this is the no bullshit zone. You're not going to be fed any sugar-coated BS. We're going to drop amplified honesty because we have to make pro wrestling great again. So if you are one of those individuals that did not catch this show, you're just catching the review. No bullshit as always. You were fed nothing but tag team match after tag team match. Some good wrestling? Of course. You go to the house shows, you're going to get good wrestling. That's not a television show. The only singles matchups, I believe, was Nia Jax and Jade Cargill. And who was the other one? I don't even... Aleister Black and Mello. Mello don't miss. All Mello does is miss. Another loss last night. You want to hear how Aleister... I'll tell you right in the cold open. Aleister rolled up Mello for a W. Aleister Black. Think about that character, please. Think about that character. Could you imagine? Now, I'm not saying he's at par with The Undertaker, but just in terms of badass characters with like a touch of captivating mystique, right? Aleister Black would be put in that category. Again, not near The Undertaker, I understand. But the category of that type of a character, right? I put Bray Wyatt and a few others in that category. You wouldn't see The Undertaker rolling people up for a W. Kills the character and the mystique and the badassery. Aleister Black having to steal a win with a roll-up over Mello. What are you doing? This is the creativity. This is what I mean. That's the best you had for Aleister Black. For a third straight week, Miz collects a black mass and Mello gets rolled up. Awesome booking. That's your 2 singles matchups in Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. Other than that, tag team match after tag team match after tag team match after tag team match, and then John Cena caught an RKO, and we said goodnight, everybody. Sound familiar, by the way? We started the night with Can They Coexist? Damien Priest and LA Knight. Nobody gives a shit if they can coexist. In the middle of the show, you have Humberto telling Santos, I'm getting upset with you yelling at me. Oh, wow, that's captivating, man. I can't wait to see Humberto steer away from Santos. Oh, yeah, wait a second. Yes, I can wait. I don't care about them together. I wouldn't care about Humberto off on his own as a lone wolf. What the fuck is Humberto going to do as a singles wrestler? You didn't know how to book him in a faction. That's where he should have started to feel like something. That's where you would start to do something like that, right? When Ric Flair and Triple H started the whole evolution, that's where you started to really get on board with Batista and even more with Randy Orton. So we start with Can They Coexist? In the middle, with LA Knight and Damien Priest. In the middle of the show, you got Humberto throwing a tantrum. And then by the end of the show, John Cena cuts a good promo, as he always does. That's nothing new. And then Randy Orton just from behind. First of all, there was like this mystery guy in a hoodie and a mask just randomly jumps in the ring, and John Cena drops him with an attitude adjustment. And then a second guy gets in the ring, and this time it's Randy Orton, and he just RKOs him. It's the same exact thing from, what was it, April 25th? It was the same from just a couple weeks ago on Raw when they started this Randy Orton hot-shotted feud for Backlash. They only had 3 weeks to do this, so they're like, yeah, go RKO John Cena. Guys, they were in the ring last night together for a brief second, and it was the same exact thing. It's rinse and repeat. It's nothing different than when you go into the bathroom and you wash your hands and you repeat the freaking process. That's all they're doing creatively. They have nothing. They don't care. So when they know they have Cena and Orton, instead of going, oh, we have both in the building, man, to promote this matchup, let's do something outside the box. Let's get everybody talking for the next 24 hours as we head into Backlash to watch John Cena and Randy Orton. You know what they did instead? They go, let's do exactly what we did on the 25th a couple weeks ago. Let's just have Cena cut the promo, and then he turns around and Randy's waiting there for an RKO. And then we'll say, good night, everybody. That's not being overly harsh or critical or critiquing this at such an alarming negative, in such an alarming negative way. This is alarming truth that I am spewing right now. This is a great concern that they don't even care, and they're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're telling you, we can't be bothered to give you anything creative. So you will see the same exact thing you saw 2 weeks ago on Raw, and you won't say anything. Or else I, the chief of content Helmsley, Triple H, I will say you're not a real fan, and you can fuck off. It's rinse and repeat. And the sad part is the whole promo, I knew that's what was going to happen. I knew Randy was backstage. So I'm like, this is what they're going to do, I bet. They're going to do the same exact thing. And I've been raising that flag about how concerning this booking is for a month now. I told you guys that that's all they had for the Cody Rhodes match for Mania. All that they did was they cut some promos and then Cody dropped Cena with a crossroads. That happened 2 or 3 times. And then when they started the Randy feud, I said, oh, I hope this isn't just a couple of RKOs and that's the whole storyline. And sure enough, the 25th, RKO. And I'm like, I knew he was there last night. And I said, oh, no, I hope they're not just going to go Cena promo, RKO again. They wouldn't do that again, would they? Crossroads, RKO, RKO. That's what they did. They literally just ended it with Cena cutting the promo, turning around, RKO, good night, everybody. I couldn't believe it, but I could believe it. But that's ballsy just to literally tell your audience you don't care about this. I just want to get it done with so we, the company, can just get more money. Another PLE, we fulfill our obligations. Another USA Smackdown, fulfilled our obligations. Let's move on to the next town. I couldn't believe it, but I could believe it. Rinse and repeat. So far, Cena's whole 2025, his last year, it's the same rinse and repeat process. Cut a promo, catch the person you're in the feud with's finisher. Cut a promo, catch the same finisher. Another promo, same finisher. Win the match at the PLE, start a new feud. Catch the promo, catch the person you're feuding with's finisher. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Literally, that's been his booking, and we've been saying this for a month. So you knew when that happened last night, yeah, you're damn right we got to get amplified on this, because is this just what we're going to see the rest of the year? I know he has to play it safe because he's also filming a lot during this last year. He's not just doing WWE. He has a lot of filming to do. So there's a lot of insurance. There's a lot of important people that are telling you can't do X, Y, and Z, even in your matches. That's why his Mania match was so safe. That's why he's facing people like Randy Orton. It has to be people they can trust so they can dumb it down, slow it down, and only do what Cena can do at Backlash and going forward. Trust me, tonight's matchup will be safe. So I understand all that. Then you have to get uber creative then, man. This is the time where you would get more creative because Cena is limited in the physicality. You can tell even more of a story, a fun story. Get out of the ring, get out of the arena if you have to. They just don't want to. They don't give a shit. So all this time that you knew, see, you don't have Cena for a lot of dates. You finally get him, and you do the same thing that we saw a few weeks ago, and there's fans that are going to be okay with it. They don't even understand what good television is for wrestling. They don't even care. They're just going to, when the show's done, they're like, wow, we saw great wrestling for 3 hours. My goodness, did you see the great wrestling? Cena caught another RKO. Man, I got to see what happens tonight. And they'll blow smoke up Hunter's ass. Triple H, like, oh my God, the creativity you're giving us. Bro, you're giving us wrestling back on a wrestling show. Where's the stories? Why does nobody feel special on this show? Because when you do shit like this, you're not building anybody up. Can they coexist with Damien and LA Knight? Who wins? Alistair rolls up Mello? Who wins? Nia Jax squashes Jade Cargill. Who wins? We've seen 10 years plus of Nia Jax. Squashing your up-and-comer probably isn't going to do anything for the up-and-comer or Nia. I'm just dropping fact after fact, truth bomb after truth bomb, because that's what we do, brah. You may not like it, tough shit. I don't know what to tell you. You stumbled upon the channel. You made it this far because you know BC be the realist. There's no way I could even try to bullshit you on this. That you can't. You can't defend any of this. This is how bad it is. Good wrestling. Yes, I'll give you that. WWE has no shortage of great wrestlers that can put on great wrestling matches. We watched 3 hours last night of nothing but wrestling matches. That's called a house show. If I gave a fuck about any of them, maybe this would be a little bit of a more positive review. There's nothing to care about, guys. They gave you non-stop random tag team matchups. Your big storyline is what? Humberto is upset with Santos. LA Knight and Damien could coexist until the match was over. Then they started hitting each other. You had maybe 2 promos last night outside of Cena's main event segment promo. Maybe that's why. They wanted it all to be about the Cena promo. That was only 8 minutes. But you had a 1-minute Charlie Flair promo in which she left midway through the promo because she got upset with the booze, storyline-wise. So 1 minute for Charlie and 1 minute for the Street Profits to act like they're badass, sound like they're badass, and then get beat by a new team, Fraxium. The champions of the world just got beat. And afterwards, after they just talked, then why give them a mic to sound and look and feel badass? If 10 minutes later you were going to have them looking up at the lights. That is what I mean about pathetic, detrimental booking by Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque McMahon, Triple H. Because you got to take a triple L on that booking. You got them sounding badass, and 10 minutes later, they're holding all their body, but they're hurt, and they just got beat, and they look at Fraxium, and they extend their hands. Mutual respect, man. You beat the shit out of us, you pinned us, and now we're wounded. We're gonna limp to the back. Street Profits look like fucking idiots, geeks. But I know, I'm supposed to go, but it was a good wrestling match. And it was like an eliminator in AEW, basically. They beat the champions, now they're going to get a championship match. Great, I get to see the whole match again. So we can yell, this is awesome. And afterwards, we'll rate it 5 stars. We'll talk about how, oh man, we saw a great wrestling match. And that's wrestling in 2025. Nobody cares about larger than life. Nobody cares about good booking. Nobody cares about creativity. Nobody cares about storylines. As long as you get 3 hours of good wrestling, then the show can go off the air. We saw wrestling. And then we can listen to Paul Levesque McMahon, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley talk about how fake it all is. We'll listen to The Rock give you every detail that went into the fake wrestling match you just saw. That's your cold open. BC's on a roll, bro. We'll get right into this because you do got Backlash coming up in a few hours. I'll try to breeze by this as fast as I can. I didn't even go over my notes. I do my due diligence last night, do my notes. Usually in the morning over a cup of coffee. I'll go over them real quick, see if I got to add anything, did some new news break. Do my due diligence in the morning as well. I'm not going to do that. I didn't do that. So if I'm kind of all over the place, I didn't look over my own notes this morning. I just did not care. So we're going to go over this. Alexa Bliss coming back last night. That's always a good sight to see. I'm a big supporter of Zelina Vega. I know that's a hot take. And a big supporter of Alexa Bliss. That might be a hot take. But I am. What's funny is if you put them both together, I still wouldn't know. I still can't tell you that they would meet the height requirement for a ride at Walt Disney World, right? If you put Zelina and stack her on top of Alexa, I still think you'd have to at least measure them. But you could say the same thing about Mello as well. Right? Mello, same thing. You put him next to Randy Orton, and, everyone's looking at them at Disney World like, he brought his kid to Disney World. And they'd have to measure Mello to see if he can even ride the ride. And that's why how you book people like Mello is very important. Last night, probably not the way you want to book Mello, and certainly not how you want to book Alistair. Let's talk all about it. What do you guys say? LA Knight, Damien Priest start the show off. They defeat Solo, Sikoa, and Jacoby Fatu. LA pinned Solo. Solo stays collecting L's, looking up at the lights. This was just a can they coexist story for Knight and Priest ahead of their lazily booked Fatal 4-Way for Backlash. Post-match, Knight and Priest start trading blows so they could coexist until the match was over. Fatu would drop both of them. Drew McIntyre jumps in the ring. Claymore party. A Claymore onto Fatu. Segment over. Damien Priest. Drew McIntyre is standing tall. Even your champion Jacoby Fatu is laid out looking up at the lights. Great booking. Awesome. So much creativity here, guys. Basically, don't you think it's a little harsh on Hunter Helmsley? Not harsh enough. This is a 3-hour program on a Friday night prime time. A company that's been around for decades. A guy at the top who calls himself the chief of everything. Chief of content, chief of talent, chief of creative. Does all the interviews, tells us we're not fans. We've been fans before Hunter was even a wrestler. But we're told by him that we're not fans and we can fuck off. He could tell us that, but we can't say that his creative sucks. It's non-existent. This is what they came up with. You make a lazy Fatal 4-Way for the pay-per-view. It's lazy. They did the same thing for the IC Championship over on Raw for WrestleMania, Fatal 4-Way. They just said, let's do the same thing for the US. That's lazy. And then their story, there is none, of course. Just go in there, have a tag team match. Drew, damn it, we didn't put Drew in the tag team. Well, Drew, you jump in after the tag match. Can they coexist? And then Drew drops everybody. Well, what about Fatu? He's the champion. Should we book him to look like just looking up at the... Of course! Makes Drew look like a badass. It's just... If you have an ounce of creativity, have some fun and let's book some real stories. Let's book something that's unique and really get you excited for Backlash. Did that do it? When this was done, did you go, whoa, man, I can't wait for this Fatal 4-Way because LA Knight and Damien couldn't coexist and Fatu got dropped and Drew looks like a beast. I'm in, man. Next up was the return of Alexa Bliss. Now, this was Zelina Vega, Alexa Bliss defeating Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. Bliss pins Chelsea via sister Abigail. Much love to B-Dub. High above. It was a poorly kept secret. We all knew Bliss was backstage. Hometown, home state, hometown, or near home to something like that. So they're like, hey, it's a nice little surprise. But it was leaked like way too far in advance. So most of us knew this, but it was still cool to see. And because I'm a big supporter of Zelina and Alexa, I was like, cool. I'll watch them kick some ass. And that's basically what they did. It was good to see Vega and Bliss scooping W's. That's all I can really say. It sucks to see Chelsea Green just kind of booked in no man's land. Yeah, I mean, you can tell that Hunter is so lost that when Chelsea last week put up those posts saying basically goodbye, like she thought she was going to be in the round of those releases. How sad is that? When we talk no transparency in the company, when somebody like Chelsea is like, bye guys, because nobody's telling me anything, but I am hearing, I'm starting to feel like I am a part of this. And then it's like, no, we're going to re-sign you. We just don't have anything for you. You know what I mean? Chelsea's just in no man's land. She can sign a new 3, 5, 10-year deal, and there's no real security behind it. And you could tell they just don't know. It's almost like remember when she didn't answer the count several weeks ago? She got counted out, and that supposedly was not the initial plan. Zelina was supposed to win differently. And then they ripped the title off of her, and then they gave her some shady booking. It's almost like she's being punished for that. Well, I mean, so many people are not answering the 3 count and making the referee and the product look silly as fuck, like a clown show, like a straight circus, and they're not being punished. Chelsea's been putting in some of her best work of her career, man, this whole last year. Think of better for this, man. But Zelina Vega, that weird way to bring Alexa back. Just a random tag team match with Zelina. And then afterwards, like, Charlotte was backstage. She went to get in her limo, and, like, Alexa slammed the door, and they just stared at each other. Didn't look like they had beef. It looks like they're going to start a tag team? Is that Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley's whole master plan to try to get people to like Charlie? Let's have her tag team with Alexa. This is an old Vince McMahon way to do business. So he would take somebody like Lana and strap her to the champion at the time, Asuka. And I'm like, why would you do that to Asuka? And then when Charlie came back, Charlotte Flair, Vince wanted people to cheer for her, but they weren't. So they ditched Lana and they attached Charlotte to Asuka. So poor Asuka had a horrible title reign because she was playing the older sister. I got to give you every bit of the rub that I have. And I hope they don't do this for Alexa. This is going to be like an anchor to a ship, and it's only going to tie that ship down. Alexa being the ship and the anchor being Charlie Flair. I hope not. Because that's actually how we started hour 2. That was your whole first hour. A lot of filler, a lot of commercials, a weird can they coexist tag team match to kick us off, and then a women's tag team match, and we were done with hour 1. Hour 2 started with Charlie Flair. Now, if they just booked her like this from the beginning, you'd be a lot farther along with Charlie Flair. What am I talking about? Let's talk about it. Charlie comes out. She's frustrated. She tells Dayton, Ohio that she's leaving and she's never coming back. Mid-promo, she just starts going, why are you guys doing this? But why are you booing? Why are you disrespecting me? Dayton, I'm giving you one last chance. I will leave. I will never come back. Remember when Batista was sitting in the middle of the ring when he was retiring? And Batista was like almost crying. I don't deserve this. And she takes off. I like that, man. Play on that. She should be a massive heel, and that's it. Don't try to force her as a face. Don't try all these little tricks to get fans to cheer her. It has to happen organically, especially at this stage. Over 10 years she's been there. If it didn't work for 10 years, it ain't going to work the next 10 and beyond. Unless you change it up. Just make her a dastardly, diabolical, maybe a crybaby heel. I don't care. But work with that for years. We will tell you when it's time, if it's time to switch it up, and maybe she has earned that flip back over to Faceville. We'll tell you that. We'll tell you when she has earned that type of response. But because they've booked her so badly for so many years, we're not there. There's that lack of connection. And then they start to do things like they did last night, and then they're automatically like, all right, it's been a month. Maybe it's worked. Let's take her back to cutting some face promos. Let's have her in there against a heel. No, why? This is what they do, these little tricks. It's like when they took her away from the title scene for several months, remember? They had her doing a few other things. I'm like, good, keep doing that for years at this point. But after like 6 months, they're like, that should be good. Let's put her in the title. Fans should be okay with it now. It doesn't work like that. Let's tag her up with Asuka. They'll cheer. It didn't work. Let's tag her up with Alexa. It'll work. It doesn't work. So I'm hope they're just setting up some type of match. Not that I need to see Alexa and Charlie again, but I really hope it's not for tag team purposes that we saw that backstage segment. Now, when Charlotte was leaving the ring, there was a storm coming in. Jada. I keep wanting to say Jada Parker, man. One of my favorites right now. That's probably why I'm always spewing that name out. Jada Parker, NXT. If you don't know, find out, man. She's amazing. She'd be high stepping to the main roster sooner than you think. But Jade Cargill was the storm coming in. So Charlie is coming. She's leaving Dayton. She says she's never coming back. Jade is coming to the ring for her match against Nia Jax. #1 contendership for Tiffany Stratton's championship. And Tiffany Stratton was ringside for that Nia Jax Jade Cargill match. But before the match, Jade says, whoa, hold up, Charlie. So Charlie turns around and Jade says, and I quote, "You had your chance, now get to the back of the line." Charlie, of course, just pisses her off more and she storms off. And then Nia Jax to the ring for her matchup with Cargill. Again, this was #1 contendership for Tiffany's championship. Tiffany was at ringside. Naomi would attack Stratton at the end of this match. So Naomi comes out of nowhere, attacks your champion, Tiffany Stratton. This distraction allows Jax to gain the advantage and subsequently sit and squash Jade. Sit on and squash Jade for the pinfall W. And I mean, she just sits on that. And you can see Jade, she's really setting up as she's watching Nia jump off that second rope and that big ass is coming down and Jade's just like, oh, what am I doing with life? Boom! And Jade is out 1, 2, 3 as Nia Jax picks up this W. I don't know. Naomi looked awesome as she's been, right? Just that look in her face. Like, I'm loving Naomi's heel work. I really hope that we can get past this Nia Jax thing. Give Jade Charlie if you want. That could be interesting. But Naomi and Tiffany, that could be a feud that could take you right into SummerSlam if done correctly. Tiffany, your Barbie face, Mrs. Toodles, it's Tiffy time, and this new diabolical, vicious, mean streak in her Naomi. And she's just crushing it. This is exactly who Tiffany needs to work with right now. And this heel Naomi. So I really hope after tonight's Backlash, we ignite that and we keep everybody else out. We don't need tag team matches. We don't need any fatal fours. We don't need this division cluttered around those two individuals and that championship. Naomi, Tiffany, lead us into SummerSlam. But you see, it's only May. I don't give a shit. SummerSlam's only a couple months away. You can't think of a couple-month feud for Naomi and Tiffany at this stage in their career with those characters? If that's the case, then you need to remove Hunter Hearst Helmsley immediately. I say that anyway. What am I talking about? He should have already been removed from that position. But if you can't book that for 2 months, man, there has to be an intervention for the chief of content at that point. Because what do you... It's this Tiffany and it's that Naomi. You can't get it's sitting in your lap. But Nia Jax will be taking on Tiffany first. Now, if you think like, haven't we seen that matchup before? Isn't that a rematch, BC? Of course it is. That's a retort. You know the answer to that. Of course it is. We're just seeing Tiffany versus Nia yet again. But what can I tell you? Hunter Helmsley, Triple H, he's cooking. Oh my God, isn't he amazing? He's giving us so much action. This is why I try to say, man. This is why I try to say at this point it should be as... When I say Triple H sucks at creative, that should be as obvious as your 1, 2, 3s and your ABCs. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Triple H sucks at creativity. It's right up there with your 1, 2, 3s and ABCs, man. You should learn that in preschool. You learn your 1, 2, 3s, you learn your ABCs, and you learn that Triple H just has no creativity within him. None. It's pretty obvious. Look at how he books his tag team champions last night. You must have at least heard about this, right? Fraxium. I like Fraxium. I had this critique in their last matchup. I think it was last Friday. And I'm going to use that same critique this week. We have to slow it down a little bit. I understand that they just want to showcase how wild they are. The flips and the dives and the gymnastics that Frazier can do. I get it. And it makes their matches like, whoa, even BC's like, damn, that's wild that they can keep that pace. You should be doing it every single match. You're wearing them out, but you're wearing your fans out. It's too much. Calm down. The whole match was a tornado tag. It was never supposed to be. All of Fraxium's matchups are becoming tornado tags just so Frazier can show you everything he can do in a 10-minute time frame. Guys, we get it. Save it. Make it feel special, but don't wear us out. There was no need for that. It's not a tag team match anymore. It's exhausting. It goes from good, like, damn, because I've been high on Fraxium, all of their matches. They could be taking on a Hank and a Tank in NXT, and I'm like, damn, that was a good match. But, whoa, can we slow it down a little and sell a little bit more? Can we just sell? Can we use a little bit more psychology? Do we have to watch Frazier do some type of gymnastic move the entire fucking match? It's becoming too much. It's becoming exhausting. You got to just calm it down a little. I promise you the match is still going to be good. The fans are still going to go, or you deserve. I'm getting my chants mixed up. They chant them all every match. This is awesome. That's the one they chant, right? This is awesome. They'll still chant it. They'll still chant it. I promise. Slow it the fuck down. Fraxium defeats the tag team champions, in case you're wondering, the Stret Profits. Axiom pins Montez. Yep. Post-match mutual respect. There goes the new attitude for the Profits. I mean, guys, they cut a 1-minute promo before Fraxium came out. And they were, they got the new theme music is blasting over the arena. They got their presentation. It's like, oh, if they just went full throttle heel, man, it would be so much fun. But they just played tweeners. And after last night, after this match, when they lost, looking up at the lights, it's not tweeners anymore. They're right back to being good old Street Profits, good old Dawkins and Montez. Because after they lost, your champions, they extended their hands. Good job, man. You beat us. We're out here for athletic competition. What happened to what you told us? See, this is what I mean. I got to get a swig of coffee because this is exactly what I mean. When you think about what I'm about to say, it's to the point, it's laughable, but it's equally frustrating. They are the ones that told us that we're done, right? Street Profits said we are done playing around. We are done playing nice. We are done just getting along to go along and going along to get along. We're done with it. And then they lose a match where they feel they shouldn't have been in it, even though the titles weren't on the line. It's basically an eliminator, and that's another story, by the way, because these eliminator matches, just like AEW, I keep that same energy with AEW, they serve no purpose. Why are we getting the actual champions losing just so we can see the same exact match again? That's the best you can do? Have the match, have the champions lose, and that'll set up another match between the same teams, but this time the title's on the line. It's stupid. It serves no purpose. Nobody wins. But the Profits felt they shouldn't even be having that matchup. Titles or no titles. And then they lose. And then they get up, and their first thought isn't to attack them, beat the shit out of them. Good match. Gunther and Cody. Remember, Gunther's supposed to be this big diabolical heel, and he shakes the face's hand, Cody. And then the next month he's facing Randy. And he shakes Randy's hand. Why is Gunther being built? Gunther said all of this stuff about Randy, and Randy is so quick to shake Gunther's hand. It doesn't match the story. I'll use that loosely. It doesn't match what they're telling us in the story, and then their actions do something different, and there's no rhyme or reason. There's no purpose. It shouldn't take a podcaster or a host of a pro wrestling show to call this out. This should be thought about by the characters and the chief of content before it ever airs live. Profits told us one thing. They're going to be all new. This is the new Profits. They ain't playing around. They ain't collecting L's. And if they do, they're going to pay. They took an L from a team that just got there as champions. And then they're shaking hands. Good job, everybody. Good game. It's when you're a kid playing pee-wee football. And after the game, good game, good game, good game. You line up. You ever play sport and it's pee-wee. Good game, good game, good game, good game, good game, good game. They good gamed. What a horrible night for the Profits. But I know, I'm supposed to be going, what a match. Profits in the TLC match. Profits against Fraxium. I know they can put on good match. That's not what the problem is. Of course they can put on good matches. If I want to see that, I'll pay $20. I'll go to a house show maybe. Oh yeah, they don't do them anymore because they couldn't even fill half the arena. I wonder why. Nobody wanted to show up. Then they can't even consistently sell out these shows going into Mania anymore. How sad is that? Did you guys see how many seats were still available for Backlash? I'm talking arenas, ringside seats. Guys, there was full rows. This was just 2 hours ago. Last night, 3 separate times they tried to get people to buy tickets to Backlash. We're 24 hours away at that point. How sad is that? I'm not even going to tell you guys Monday Night Raw how many tickets are still available. It's sad. It has gotten sad. Why don't people want to show up? Why are you losing viewers? You're either staying stagnant or you're losing viewers in the ratings every week. Why? Because you got 3 hours of bullshit where nothing makes sense and it's detrimental to your own talent and it's nauseating and sleep-inducing for your fans. BC's on a roll because I've had enough. This has nothing to do with Backlash. You take your champions like the Profits and you have them looking up at the lights to Fraxium for what reason? And then you add insult to injury and you put salt on the wound by having them shake hands. Yeah, that's great. It's right back to being the same old corny, dorky Street Profits. Thanks a lot, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You fucking idiot. Aleister Black is up next. Wait till you hear this. Aleister Black defeats Mello Hayes via a roll-up pinfall. think about that. Aleister Black's character, right? You have Aleister Black's character winning with a Fruity Pebbles roll-up. I'm trying to comprehend it. I'm really using... I want to use the same line that I used in the cold open teaser, man. I'm not saying he's equal to The Undertaker. Absolutely not. But he is supposed to be a next-level badass, Black, right? And he does have that touch of captivating mystery to him, right? That's why I just put him kind of in the category of Undertaker. Not saying they're the same. Trust me, man. Nobody's Taker status. But with that badass next level character and that touch of mystery and kind of suspense where at any moment you truly believe he could go supernatural, and you probably believe it in the realm of pro wrestling. You take that character that Black has and you have him win by roll-up. Could you imagine Undertaker winning with roll-ups? Come on, man. And as far as Melo losing another match, all I'll say is I hope Javon Evans is paying attention. That's all I'm going to say. Because Javon feels like he's got the world by the balls right now, and I understand, and that kid's young, and he's so talented, and he's got a world of an amazing career ahead of him. But when you start saying some stuff, and you start burning too many bridges too young, all I'll say to Javon Evans is you look at Melo and you got to remember you're a stone's throw away from being in the next round of releases. And if you burn too many other promotions and bridges to those promotions, it's not good, man. And I always hate to see that happen to individuals. I said the same thing about Matt Riddle and so many others. You know, when it's going good, it's easy to spew off, right? Because it's going good. But you got to be careful because how you treat those on the way up, you know, you'll be seeing the same people on the way down. And you want to make sure that, you know, even if you weren't the most respectful, at least it was still cordial. Then we went on to Andrade and Rey Fenix defeating Humberto and Garza. Andrade pins Humberto, and then Humberto storms off in defiance of Escobar. Who cares? Nobody cares about Santos, Humberto, and Garza, sadly. Their booking is so damn sad. They just sit around catering until Hunter Hearst Helmsley finds some more people that speak Spanish so he can put them in a fucking story or feud or what I call just a bunch of random matchups together. And we do that for months. And when that gets stale, we'll wait. Maybe we'll get some AAA talent or something. Can anybody fit into the category that Triple H needs right now? Because that's the only thing you're going to see Escobar involved in, or Humberto, or Andrade, or Penta. Feed him a Mysterio. Phoenix, put him with Andrade. Have him face Escobar's group. Split off Humberto, and Humberto can start something with Garza and Santos. It's all he does. There's no creativity. A pre-meeting would involve him going, as everyone that speaks Spanish, raise your hands. Okay. Can you guys go over here? For the next 6 years, you're all going to be feuding with one another. Sound good? Okay? Expand your horizons, bro. You can actually give them creativity that has nothing to do with any box that you put them in. They have talent. Escobar could actually put storylines on his back. Andrade, we know he can. I feel he does need a mouthpiece. Him and Zelina, ultimate duo. That's when he was at his best. You take a mouthpiece away, you book him in such randomness, and then you wonder why nobody is reacting? I had to get more coffee, man. It's just frustrating. The toddler booking that we get on these, and I know it's more than obvious than ever before that these shows are for kids these days, man. It's aimed for kids. They're presented for kids. You saw on Monday night, how many times did they try to show all the kids in the crowd? McAfee's like, look at this kid. That was me. Jey Uso, they started out when Uso was coming out to start Raw. Did you see what they did? They planted a kid in front of him, and he missed his cue. So Jey had to tell him, go. Like, now we go. They were waiting for the cameraman to go. So they planted a kid. So it looks like the kid's like, and they're eating, and then they show all the kids, and it's for kids. I get it. I mean, the booking is telling you that. This is toddler shit. I understand that. But you have to remember that the majority of your audience is still that 18 to 49 demo. You can't completely just forget about us, man. I mean, this is just, it's so, the bar is so low right now creatively in WWE. And most fans that are saying, oh, this wasn't too bad, or this was good, a lot of them are tapping out. They know it's bad, but they're just like, dude, every week we're just saying how bad it is. It's just, it's becoming so, like, exhausting. Like, I just want it to be good, so I'm just gonna, whatever. It is what it is. I'm not doing that, though. It is tiring. It's exhausting to get the same bullshit every week, and it feels like it gets even worse every week. But I'm not tapping out for my unit, man. You guys have stuck with BC, and you come here because you want the amplified truth always, as hard as it may be, and as harsh as the critiques may be. But if our mission statement is make pro wrestling great again, we can't tap out to it. We have to keep on keeping on. And if that means being harsh every single week, we're going to do that until Hunter Hearst Helmsley, WWE in totality, raises their fucking bar. Because they have to raise their fucking bar. John Cena ends the show with an unbelievable promo on Randy Orton. It was really good. I mean, this is a monologue, guys. Most of this was bullet points that he went over probably over the course of the week. But to not only remember the whole thing, but ad-lib on command, and no stuttering, no looking like he's searching for words. I mean, Cena is just the best at this shit. He just is. He's so good. And it had substance to it. I mean, he's going into, like, all of the things that people say about Randy Orton. That there is that laziness, that he was his own worst enemy. He got in his own way. He always wanted to do the bare minimum. He didn't want to do all the autographs. He didn't want to do all the Make-A-Wish, all of that. And Cena went above and beyond. Cena would do all of that. And then Orton would go, oh, why aren't I getting this? And then he'd complain because he wasn't doing all the work that it takes. These were all real complaints, and somehow Cena put it into a really good long monologue. Huge promo. Talking about hustle, loyalty, and respect. And why Randy possesses none, but Cena stands on top of the mountain of all three of those things. Still to this day, even as a heel. Hustle, loyalty, and respect. It was really good. Even made reference to the failed drug test back in, 2006? Something like that. Not 16, was it? 6. So he made reference to that. I mean, it was good. But I knew what was going to happen because I knew Randy was in the building. He's going to turn around and he's going to eat an RKO, but we've already seen that. So I was like, I hope there's something more. And some random dude jumps in with a mask and a hoodie. He gets dropped with an attitude adjustment. And then Randy comes in and hits Cena with an RKO. How weird was that? Randy didn't, like, unmask the guy, and maybe it's he's just a random dude. Nothing's taught, nothing's explained. Joe Tessitore is acting like it's normal. Oh, random guy. Could be a fan. Who knows? Nobody mentions it. And then Randy slips in, RKO, and we say goodnight, everybody. Oh, first, Paul Levesque McMahon's credit, right? You got to know who produced this. He has to get all the credit. Yeah, oh, you are. For another shit show, we absolutely are going to hold you accountable. Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, Paul Levesque McMahon. You don't have to worry about that. You don't need to remind us with the credit. BC's absolutely going to give you all the credit for this garbage, trash, pathetic shit show. But we saw this whole type of booking with Cody Rhodes leading up to Mania. That's all Cena did. Good promo, eats a crossroads. Good promo, eats a crossroads. Good promo, eats a crossroads. Started up with Randy. Eats a good promo, eats an RKO. Good promo last night, eats an RKO. Rinse and repeat. Where's the creativity in any of this? Are we doing this for the whole... Is this just what they have planned? Because they can trust Cena on the mic, and we'll all go, whoa, did you hear his promo? And then he just eats a finisher from the person he's feuding with, and we all say, hey, that was good. And then we do the same exact thing, rinse and repeat a week or two later. That was good. Do you hear Cena's promo? Do it one more time, and then we go into the match. Start a new feud. Promo, eat the finisher. Promo, eat the finisher. Match. 2 straight feuds. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Look at what happened in both. It's rinse and repeat. Helmsley has to do nothing. No wonder he's got the time to do all these interviews. No wonder he's got the time being the face of the company and filming shows like Unreal, where they expose the business even more. No wonder he's got all this time. This was 3 hours where nothing was creative. You, that's right, you listening, or maybe if you're just on the tube right now watching, you could book this and most likely better. You could have booked this whole 3 hours last night way better. We got nothing. No stories were told. You saw nothing but wrestling matches. And at the very end, you finally got a promo. John Cena. And it just led to another RKO. The same thing you saw 2 weeks ago on Raw. Same exact situation. To a T. Cena's looking at the hard cam after his promo and Randy's behind him. No other promos. The only 2 other promos, each one was a minute. There was 2. 1 minute apiece. Charlotte Flair and Street Profits. And we all know how that ended. Charlotte Flair just leaves and Street Profits end up losing a match 10 minutes later. You got nothing. Humberto stormed off from Escobar. And LA Knight and Damien just couldn't coexist. Alexa came back, stared at Charlie. Are they going to be a tag team? Nothing. 3 hours. A go-home show to a pay-per-view, PLE. And we're talking about a house show that was on television. That's what I got. This already went longer than it should have gone. Backlash coming up. I hope to be live with you guys maybe for the first match. So stop by the channel for the first match tonight. I'll be live for a watch-along. It'll be pretty cool. Last time we did that, we watched 3 matches. I want to do just a regular Good, the Bad, and the Ugly review and have that out to my channel members tonight if I can. So I don't think we're going to go too many matches live, but you never know. So stop by, say what's up to the unit, have a coffee, smash that up, support the channel. But we'll have some fun tonight in some form or facet for Backlash. And then, of course, tomorrow, the Backlash review, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And we're going to rock it. Trust me when I say that. So much love and respect, my unit. Until next time, and there will be that next time. 44 Dive, that's a wrap. BC and the unit saying check you. Salute.